Um,
Go ahead, Aaron. I mean, sorry.
So
Yeah,
and then
go ahead.
and Bill, and I'm not sure. I apologize. I didn't get into some of the background. I didn't know if that's already been shared. So Nikki, I didn't know if you can tell me a little bit about what your guys' environment is today and like kind of what you guys are doing with all this stuff, or Bill, has that already been talked about yet?
No, I mean, I got a little bit from the other Aaron. I know that they've communicated, but Nikki, if you're okay answering that, I mean, I'd love to hear it from you guys and kind of your standpoint, if that's okay.
So, yep. So from a contact center standpoint,
Yeah.
that's all I can really speak on. Okay. So the majority of the business is using Genesis Pure Connect. It's a on-prem phone system. Then we have a small group, our central monitoring department. They are still using a very, very legacy Avaya on-prem phone system as well. For the rest of the company, for the majority of the company that's using Pure Connect, we have a bunch of integrations built in with Mastermind, Salesforce, Verint, Monet. We have outbound dialer. We have I want to say like third-party reporting tools like Tableau, pulling data from there as well. For Central Station with Avaya, it is very basic. We do have Mastermind built in there. And of course, with the alarm panels, it kind of triggers a call within Avaya. So we have, I wouldn't really call that an integration, but we do have that built in. And I think just high level, I think that's it. I don't know if you guys have any specific questions.
Well, so let's start with the Verint piece. What are you using? What is the specifics you're using with Verint? What are the different systems that you're using with them? Or
so workforce management, forecasting. I feel like there's a third piece, but it might just be those two.
Okay.
What was the pieces you're talking about? Sorry, I'm going.
What are we using? No problem. What are we using Verint for? It's workforce management and forecasting. I don't remember if there was a third component or if it was just those two.
No, that's the way they're using it.
Okay.
And we have that integrated with both our Avaya PBX and our Pure Connect environment.
And Pure Connect.
And then the outbound dialer, is that used by the sales team?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have what is your agent count today that you're using? How many agents?
In Avaya, between, I would say 30 and 40. In Pure Connect, if I had to guess, I would probably say about 250.
250. Okay. And so total of agents right around 300, or is there another division?
Yep, that's about it.
Okay, perfect. And so what are you, with your outbound dialing, what are certain things that you guys are using that is important to you, that is not important to you, that you'd like to see? I'm just trying to understand, what's your percentage of things that you guys are looking for?
So with the outbound dialer, right now it gets triggered by web leads. A customer or a potential customer goes onto our website and they submit like a contact me for more information type form.
Okay.
And their information gets entered into the contact list. And we have the campaign set up where within a couple of minutes they get a phone call. If they don't answer, it will just recall, and there's a cadence built in there for so many calls a day, so many calls overall. And that is all we're using the outbound dialer for today. There have been other conversations that have come up for like automatic calls in that sense where it's triggered by something, or a manual type contact list where I pull down this data from somewhere, I upload it into the dialer, and it just starts knocking out calls.
Okay. And then is that automatic? So that's what you have today, or you don't have that today?
The first portion is the one we have today, where the potential customer goes onto the website and fills out that that more
The-
information form.
Right,
Mhm.
the web leads and everything. Yep. But the automatic calls, you don't have that today,
Not
correct?
yet. No.
Okay. All right, perfect. So with your workforce management with Verint, how do you do you like that, what you're using today? Are there certain features sets that you're needing or issues or having problems with?
So it's a fairly new integration. I believe that project was completed in Q2. So it is fairly new to the business. I have not heard any bad things about it yet.
Mhm.
We would probably want to keep it, being that it's a new integration.
Okay.
But we probably won't be opposed to seeing if you guys have one built in. We
Sure.
probably wouldn't be opposed to seeing that in action during the demo.
Okay. All right. Today, like if intraday automation, how do you deal with when people call out? How do you deal with when the schedule's already been set, and there's changes? What does that look like in your guys' system today for workforce management?
I would not be able to answer that question. We were actually just talking about this a couple of days ago, that we haven't really circled back with the business to kind of get a grip on how they're actually using it.
Okay.
So many different scenarios and things came up when we were going through discovery and going through integration, but
Mhm.
I haven't circled back with the business to kind of assess where they're at, what they're using it for, and how it's working for them.
Okay. All right.
What,
Good.
go ahead. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, you're good.
So channel wise, so how are people, besides like the web form that you guys mentioned? Is that, first of all, is that that's on your website, right? Is that just
Yeah.
a standard questionnaire form, name, email, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's name, email address, phone number, zip code.
Okay.
Because we have to obviously know if we service that area.
Sure.
I think that's all the info that it asks. And that's on
Now,
the sales page when a customer selects like requests a quote.
okay. Got it. And is most of that handled online? Or is anyone being transferred to an agent for any reason, or is most of that just on that page?
What do you mean? So when they select request a quote and they fill in that information, that's when the auto dialer calls them. If they
Right.
answer, they do get connected to an agent. It's not an agentless campaign.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking, just to make sure, like, I didn't know if there, for any reason, they were being transferred if it wasn't filled out. I just trying to see when customers are coming in, what different channels besides like voice and email do you have? Are you guys
We have web chat and we have SMS.
okay? Any social media or anything?
No.
In the web chat, where is that? Who's providing the web chat?
Meaning where is not where our website is hosted, right?
Well, I didn't know if that was like from your IT team, like if it's your own chat bot or if it's another company that's providing it, that kind of thing.
So they chat with a live agent that comes through the Pure Connect phone system.
Okay.
Okay. So it's live. So it's always live agent. There's no any kind of chat bot or anything along those lines.
That is
Correct.
correct. That's correct.
All right.
Got it.
And then the SMS. When do you use that? When you use the text messaging?
That would be, I think, tech support and customer care. And I think that's an option on the website as well, or through the mobile app.
So just to make sure I understand, so somebody would either get on a mobile app, or they'd be talking to tech support, and then the tech support would then send them over what kind of information?
So I think through the chat, I believe the customer is initiating the conversation. So like through the sorry, not the chat, through the mobile app,
Yeah.
they would click on, if I guess they drill down to a customer support type question or a technical support type question, and then they get options of how they want to contact us. SMS is like text with an agent is one of them, and they click
Okay.
that. It opens up the chat, the messaging on their phone. I keep saying chat, my apologies. It opens up the text app on their phone, and it autofills the number. They begin texting with the agent.
Okay.
And those are all ACD assigned as well.
Okay. And so you could see the history. So you would be able to see in your system, your Varen is Varen your ACD? No, Pure Connect is your VC. So
Pure
Genesis is.
Connect. Yep.
Yeah. So Pure Connect is your ACD. So would you see that history of that one call? So if that customer called in at a later date, would you be able to see that text messaging and that web chat all in one pane?
No, not in Pure Connect. I'm not sure if that data is linked back in to Mastermind, because Mastermind is our customer database.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Tyler, is that information linked back into Mass where they can kind of see that history? It's all
Yeah,
of
it
our
is.
okay.
So
So-
go ahead. So you can see
No,
it,
go
or
ahead.
you can't.
Yes,
You can't
you
see it.
can.
You can.
Yep.
And that's all stored in Pure Connect, in the Genesis piece
No,
through Mastermind.
yes,
Oh, it's only in Master.
it's in
Sorry.
Mastermind. It
Mastermind.
wouldn't pop. Yeah, the history wouldn't pop up in Pure Connect.
Okay.
Some of our departments are using Salesforce, so they would
Yeah.
have that full view as well.
Mastermind. All right. So
But
you
that's in Salesforce. It's outside of Pure Connect.
So there's no screen pop or anything for the agent to be able to see any history in
No.
Pure Connect. Okay.
For and I know we only have it's 2:22. So how much time do we have left? I want to make sure this is okay. So it's an hour long. Bill, before I move on to anything else, I wanted to let you keep on going.
Now CRM was good, and then now going back to SMS real quick. Last question: when your tech team is going out, are you guys doing any type of notification to the customers for like installs or anything like that?
I feel like we are. Tyler, can you speak on that piece? Because that is not being done through Pure Connect.
What?
Where
I'm back now.
it'll send a text message to the customer saying, your tech.
Twilio.
Okay.
Twilio. Okay.
We have a Twilio broker set up so we have a couple of different methods the way we're doing SMS. One is directly in Salesforce using brokers through there. And then we have in CIC itself, we have a Twilio broker set up that is handling some of the contact center specific messaging.
Okay. And so they're reaching out to the prospect or the customer who they're going out to like do an install or coming out for a maintenance call. They're sending that information. Okay.
Yeah. So hey, your technician is on its way. Click on this link to see where he is on the map.
Got it. Perfect. Okay.
Something like that.
Is there any ability to respond or change or do anything, and is that recorded in your Pure Connect as well? So like if let's say that person's like I'm going to be running 10 minutes late, can you push this out 10 minutes? Would that be answered or would that not be answered anyway?
I mean, the logging that to the extent that I'm aware, and it may be somewhere else, is solely in Twilio itself. If I need to go back and see what a customer said they didn't get a message or something, like what the interactions look like, I've always gone into Twilio itself.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I mean, well, I'm sorry. I mean, so if I'm a customer and I get a text message saying, hey, tech will be here at 3 o'clock today. And then I say, hey, I'm going to be running about 10 minutes late. Can you let the tech know?
Oh,
Is it a truly omni-channel proactive outbound text, or is it just a text that's kind of non-monitored?
to my knowledge, like Pure Connect can't truly handle omni-channel anyway. Doesn't it categorize chat as SMS and chat? Like it doesn't have a differentiator between the two. To my knowledge, it
That
can't really
that is
handle true
correct.
omni-channel.
That is correct.
Okay.
But those specific text messages that he's referring to, those aren't handled in Pure Connect at all. So the question is, are those is that channel being monitored? So if you get
Yeah,
that text, you can
they have chat
respond
queues for
back to it.
those.
Okay.
They have chat queues for those.
Okay. And is that a separate agents of the 300 that you guys have? Is that separate from the 300 agents, or is that part of those agents that they're monitoring that?
It should be included, right? Because they have digital queues for stuff like that, don't they, Nikki?
They do, yeah. If they're coming back here, then yes, it is monitored in Pure Connect, I guess.
Okay, so that's part of that 250 that's watching
Yes.
that Twilio.
Yep.
250 agents. So they're just doing it. They're just kind of looking at a completely separate system to see if somebody's responded.
Well, it kind of sounds like he's saying that it's coming back into Pure Connect. The original message, from my knowledge, is not coming out of Pure Connect, but I'm guessing their response is routing to Pure Connect.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, we're just we want to make sure that understanding really what and how you're using it today, and obviously what are the possibilities. So when we are doing these demos, this might be something that'd be interesting. There's a lot of times where people want it all to be connected into the system, where it's all, you see the whole journey via whether it's SMS or social media or a phone call or whatever it is. And then also it's what's called an asynchronous chat, where it doesn't make a difference. There's no start or end. So I could send out a message right now, and then 2 weeks from now I could be like, hey, you guys came out. Can you something's not working. Can you send somebody else out? And it's an ongoing chat type of thing. So I just want to make sure that we're understanding what you guys are using and what is needed type of thing.
Well, I think I get where you're going. I think what maybe we should approach it more in, we're moving almost everything into Salesforce. So whatever we go with is going to be driven solely in the integration with Salesforce itself. So omni-channel, everything. So that's our handling of messaging and chat and all of that will be totally different when that happens towards the end of this year. So when we do our contact center solution, whatever that may be, it's going to be totally different than what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
And driven out of Salesforce. So we won't,
Perfect.
And we ran into this before, but we like what were we looking at, Nikki, that our current support person or partner was trying to drive us into, like their version of like chat and BI and all of that. And then like, we're doing everything in Salesforce.
Yeah. That
We
was
don't need to see your ability to do
That's
chat
perfect.
and stuff. That's all in Salesforce.
Yep. That's perfect.
Maybe internal chat, maybe back and forth,
Yeah.
but customer chat, because we want to have everything logged in Salesforce, all the interactions on the opportunity itself.
Well, and what a lot of people do is they want it to be, they just want it all to be synced, right? So all our stuff can be used, and it'll sync in your CRM and Salesforce. It'll sync obviously in our solutions, but you want all the analytics to be pulled from everything. You don't want to have to go to different places, right? You want one centralized type of environment, I would assume. So, well, perfect. That's good to know. What how are you guys coaching your agents? Like what do you listen, how often are you listening to the phone calls that are coming in? you know, are you just taking samples? Are you listening? Is it listening to all of the calls? You know, give me a little understanding how that works as well.
We have a QA department that does that. It's also quite painful. I mean, the analytics are bad, the analysis of the calls, and you know, the way that the customer is. I mean, that's one of the big points for us on moving to some cloud solution is the way that it gives you the ability to like look at the inflection in the way that somebody's talking to an agent, and okay, we've got a customer that somebody needs to pop in on because they're unhappy or they're pissed off or whatever. We can't do
Right.
any of that right now, and it's not being done right now. It's just after the call, or if like there's something going on where a supervisor needs to listen in for whatever reason, they can listen in. But there's none of what I think where you're going, that none of that is currently being done. I don't even know. I don't think it's possible right now.
We'll be excited to show you some more stuff then. So no whispering, no barging in, no taking over the call, no
We have
any of
basic
that type
whisper, don't we, Nikki?
Yeah, so we
Like
do have
basic
whisper, and
Mhm.
a supervisor can listen in on a live call. They can join the call. They have the options to kind of listen in and only speak to the agent where the customer doesn't hear.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that. I think if it needed to get to that point, the agent could put the customer on hold, you know, that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're actually using it, but Pure Connect does have that capability.
Right.
I think they would use it more so if the solution gave them more information and
Right.
presented it to them in a way that they could go in, like not, hey, I've got the agent is talking to the customer and then they're pinging their supervisor with information about the interaction to get them
Right.
up to speed, and then they join. Like if they had all of that just very
Almost like
dynamically
transcribed for them to see it, and then
Sure.
yeah, right.
So
and
That it doesn't do.
and
Yep.
do you have any real-time analytics of how that call's going? So, you know, for instance, I guess since you don't have sentiment or any of that type of stuff, you don't know
Right.
if a call's getting good or going bad.
No.
I assume that'd probably be beneficial to have real-time analytics
Oh, yeah.
saying, okay, this is getting bad, and then also you get a notification. Hey, this
Absolutely.
is somebody needs to jump in here and and help them. Right. Okay. So when you're recording or when you're afterwards and you're trying to coach your agents, first off, do you know how many interactions you guys have on a monthly basis, whether that's SMS, chat, or phone by chance?
I have no idea.
No,
That's okay
I'd
if
be
you
I have
don't.
lazy enough to
It's
get
not.
that information.
And it's not that important at this point. But I just sometimes people say that there's 90% is voice, 10% is whatever type of thing. So
I mean, so I could see that being the case if like we were supervisors of the call center itself, but as IT administrators and of the system, we don't need to know that information. We don't.
Sure.
We have monitoring on volume in case we get, are we saturated from a channel standpoint? Like we're going to need to up our SIP circuits to be able to handle more call paths. We
Yeah.
get alerted on that, but that's really to the extent from our perspective, that's what we care about. That'd be supervisors that would be able to get that other, like they probably care more about the other information.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and also as we get into this, just know connectivity comes into play, right? And we start talking about connectivity and how the calls are coming in and how they're being routed. But we also start talking about uptime and MOS scores and things like that, right? So, when they're on the call, how's the call quality? Are you guys losing calls? Do they have to call in to say, hey, our calls are dropping? Some have that active failover or manual failover where they have to call in and let them know. Those all come into play too. Those are all real time things that we'll get into, right? So it may not be how many calls or what's the average handle time, but it could be those kind of things, right? Making sure that you understand the 99.99% and the 4+ MOS score and those kind of things. So we'll get into that too as we progress down this road. So
Right.
Do you guys do you guys have I mean, so our preference, before I ask the question, our preference would be to not manage carriers going forward.
Yes.
We would much rather have whatever contact center we go with handle that telephony side. Do you guys offer that, or do you have to be YOC?
No, we do. We actually started in the telephony side. We were in the carrier space before we went into CCAS. So
Okay.
we can actually handle that for you guys. And again, connectivity is early and often to make sure that that is a weight off of your guys' shoulders as well. So we bring in connectivity engineers to actually have that conversation with you guys to make sure that that is taken off your plate.
Are you toll free and DIDs?
Yes.
Do you guys, so are you RESTborg on the numbers themselves, or do, like, say we want to make a change to where a toll free number is happening? Can we do that on the fly, or do you have to then, like right now, with Spectrum, I think it's Spectrum. We have Spectrum and Lumen. I think it's Spectrum. Like, they don't own the numbers, so then they have to make a request to Verizon Business, who owns the numbers, if we want to change where a number is pointing, and it's like a toll free is pointing, and it's painful. Like, we need to be able to make these things happen, either advanced routing to where they're just automatically going to go somewhere else, or if we need to point them somewhere else, we need it to happen now.
Yeah, and we can do either.
Okay.
Yep. So, and we're agnostic too. So if a company does come to us and say, hey, listen, we just signed with this carrier, can you work with them? The answer is yes. But for somebody like, what you just said, we can handle that too. So we can, RESTborg, we can do whatever whatever the preference is. We just, like I said, we'll just have those conversations and work to the bottom of that one for you guys, with you guys. So,
okay.
Yep.
So from an IT side, I mean, is that one of your biggest, just the maintenance of everything? Is that one of your biggest issues, do you think? Or is there other things, take away the business side, what is your guys's biggest issues?
I'll let Nikki speak on her perspective on that. Like, for me, it's maintenance. I don't like dealing with carriers at all, to be honest. It's always been painful. We have no leverage as we're a small to mid-sized company. We have no leverage with support. And I mean, like aggregators, companies that have thousands and thousands of numbers, and they're going to have more leverage than us for support. So that's always been painful. I think, I think that's probably like my biggest gripe about it, and it's just, it feels,
that is one of mine as
old.
well. Just
we're not getting modern.
Simple requests or actual, down outages. It takes way too long to get the proper support that we need.
Sure.
Well,
from the carriers.
That's been a pain point for us. That's why we don't want to BYOC with anybody we go with, and some contact centers we've looked at don't offer that you have to. So that kind of just gets them out of play altogether, makes it easier for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that there's never ever outages, but we pride ourselves on our redundancy and diversity that we have throughout all the nodes and networks that we have. One thing that I think Bill mentioned earlier is that our 99.99% uptime, which is great, but one thing that differentiates us versus some other people, and not that this could be a huge deal breaker or changer, but is that we don't include we even include our that's our maintenance time as well, whereas most people do not include that. So the maintenance time that it ever takes you to go down, we're 4 nines all across the board, whereas other vendors don't usually include that, which obviously makes them a little less. So hopefully.
Are you operating out? Sorry, go ahead. I was delayed there.
No, you're good.
Are you guys running out of AWS, Azure, GCP?
We're out of the AWS.
Okay. Are you microservice based, or are you guys still kind of the more legacy architecture?
We're microservices.
Okay, cool.
So And then one thing, this probably doesn't mean a huge difference as well, but people kind of makes a peace of mind. We're one of the few carriers that are FedRAMP, qualified and whatnot. So not that probably plays a lot in your guys' world, but it definitely kind of makes people feel more, just using one of the few carriers out there that are FedRAMP. So.
Okay.
Well,
What's your data analytics built on? I know, like, I think Pure Cloud is built on Power BI, isn't it, Nikki?
Yes, I believe so.
What are you guys? Are you guys custom built from a BI standpoint, or like a business intelligence? Like, what you're presenting the marquees or whatever you want to call them? How are you presenting
Tableau.
information?
A lot of times it's through our well, for most cases it's through Tableau.
That's good. We use Tableau. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
So.
and understand with us. So here's what makes nice CX1 different. So a lot of the companies, and like you said, trying to get help on some of these things, right? Who are you calling? Most of the competitors, all the other competitors, they work with other companies. So you are very, you have kind of, like you said, Pure Connect at the center of it. But if you needed workforce management, you have to call and then go to another company. If you want this, you have to call and go to another company. The cool thing with Nice CX1 is whether we've built the product or purchased the product, we've baked it and it's a part of the Nice network, meaning you will have one person that you call for everything. So it's not that you're having to be transferred to a different company to answer a question and then restate everything that you've already said to somebody else. This is so you guys are working, and that's across the board. So you're always working within one screen. That could be with Salesforce. That could be, as you're talking, voice chat, text messages, workforce management. It's all within one panel. So everything is right there. You're not bouncing around. You're not calling different companies. Everything is baked into the product. So it makes it a little bit different and hopefully easier to work with.
Yeah, you'll definitely see that it's the
Rest
direct
and,
integration into Salesforce. Is a plus, especially when you're using Salesforce. And as Bill was saying, it is that unified solution. And you asked before about our analytics platform. The key thing is that where a lot of people piecemeal things. So a lot of vendors, they'll take, okay, kind of almost in a sense like kind of what you guys have right now, which is not a bad thing. It just you guys are looking to, I think you guys are looking trying to kind of unify things where, they'll have like Varen on this piece and they'll have like they'll be using another company for this piece and another company for this piece and so forth. And they put it together and it looks like it's unified, but when they go to upgrade one thing, everything else breaks, right? When they try to do maintenance on something, everything else breaks. And you're not getting analytics throughout the whole thing, so they can't talk to each other. They don't work with each other, that mesh type of solution. Whereas Nice really takes pride in ourselves is where we have all of our solutions almost kind of like a pancake, a couple pancakes, and the analytics goes right through the center of those pancakes, where it can pull that data, that raw data from every single piece, whether it's workforce management, whether it's quality, whether it's your digital conversations, that SMS that we were talking about before, or phone calls. It doesn't make a difference. It's all going through the whole system at one. So
as well as having a data lake where we're able to store a lot of your historical data. So for things like workforce management, we're able to, when you're talking about forecasting and you're talking about those kind of things, we're taking your data from over the past however long, year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, and using that data to be able to forecast. So it's it's not a guess, right? We're using historical data and we're able to do that with data lakes and that kind of management. So anyways, that's not a,
How do you guys
sounds like
handle? Sorry, go ahead.
no,
go ahead,
I was
Tom.
just going to say it's not a commercial. It sounds
Yeah.
like a commercial. It's not a commercial, but go ahead, please.
How do you guys handle cost for retention of call recording? So we record right now. We record screens and everything, and I think our retention is what is it? 3 months, Nikki?
Yes,
For
for the
screen
screen
and voice?
recording. For screen recording is 3 months. For voice, I think I lowered it to 5 years.
Okay. So what's your cost model on storage for that kind of stuff?
Yep. So we give you guys, it's 5 gigs of storage per agent, and that's pooled. So it's 5 gigs times 300-ish agents, right?
Okay.
And then anything over that, it's like 30 cents a gig or something. But we allow you guys to store based on, typical is, 30, 60, 90 days. We then have like a long-term storage and a long-term storage retrieval, but you dictate what those numbers are and what that time frame is. So we give you a ton of storage. We can also in our screen recording, we can record up to, I think it's 4 or 5 screens.
Five
So
screens.
yeah. So
it's ridiculous.
You go, yeah. And so as you go, the recording will actually show, and it's not separate. So as you watch the recording, you can actually see the screens as well, and you can see where they're clicking in the screens based on as that call progresses.
And they're paired with the voice. A lot of times a lot of times people say, okay, well, my voice, the audio and the screens, they're hard to kind of, they can't watch them all at the same time. You really need to know that analytics behind, the voice and the digital, so that they are paired where, a lot of times people can't see that.
Yeah, this will show all 5 screens as that recording is going. And like he said, we're FedRAMP certified. We also have, masking and that kind of thing. So if there is credit card information that you guys are trying to hide, so security number information, whatever, it'll actually have a block in that area and we have multiple ways that we can handle that. We can show you that, whether it's changing to a different system or white noise or whatever it is. But we can do that and make sure that is in the recording as well, where it's blocked out for that piece there. So the one thing to mention with FedRAMP, we are about to be FedRAMP high, if that matters to you guys. Some people it does, but that is the highest level that you can go in FedRAMP certification. So
yeah, not specifically, but we would definitely like to see, one of the things that we're trying to get better at is protecting that kind of data. And right now that is in those recordings. So we would definitely like to see how that looks from your guys' perspective on protecting that kind of information. So
absolutely. Okay.
Are the agents, how do I ask this? Are they do they have different skills, or are they all,
use skills.
What's that? I'm sorry.
We use skills.
Well, I guess what I mean by that is like, is there any kind of mixed? Do all the agents do this, these 40 only do this, these 250 only do this, or is it broken down?
No, they have. I mean, I wouldn't say, and Nick, you may be able to answer this better than me. I wouldn't say across the board that is as common, but they definitely have some agents that do more than one skill.
Okay, perfect.
That is correct.
And I'm not sure if you know this or if this is more on the business side. Do you know if when they do coaching, do they just take a sample of certain recordings and listen to them, or are they able to listen to 100%? Is the system able to listen to 100%? Do you know that answer by chance?
I wouldn't say they're doing 100%. I don't think they would make it through 100% of the calls. So I think they are taking a sampling. I don't know what the criteria is though.
Okay.
How about feedback management? Do you guys do any type of post-call surveys or anything?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we definitely, when the nice thing about it is obviously there's.
That was me. That was me, Aaron. I was asking.
Oh, sorry.
That's a good answer. Thank you for telling me that we do. No,
Bill, the answer is
Tyler,
yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Taking notes and trying to do this at the same time. Sorry.
We have follow-ups, right, Nikki? Like that's about the extent.
Yeah, they do surveys, but I believe they are emails at random. But I think
Didn't
like
know
the
that.
managers kind of do like a follow-up depending on those are probably on installs though. I think that's all we do verbal follow-up on.
Okay. When are you guys looking, if you make a change? When are you looking to make the change?
Oh, that's the $1 million question. 'Cause it seems to fluctuate. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems to go with the wind, which is that's not uncommon here. But I think the end.
If I could tell him like some of our end of the dates that
Oh
we've
yeah, that's what I
gotten,
was
and
gonna
that
go
might
into.
help.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So Pure Connect, we will not be able to buy any more licenses to support like agents and different things like that. The end of 2023. So let's just say December 31st, 2023. And then it is going end of support, end of life, July. Dang, is it 2024?
24, right? Yeah.
Yes, 2024.
They're
Now
trying to
with
push people to Pure Cloud.
yep. And
Yep.
now with Avaya, the current system that we're on, there are no more upgrades. There's literally nothing happening with that system. But it's not really end of life, if that makes sense. I think it's
Right.
just end of support. But they don't really have a date for end of life. So we've been telling ourselves that we have 18 months just so they don't spring it on us. Because I think when we met with them, I believe they said we're always going to be 18 months out. Like whenever they do give a date, it'll be 18 months later, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So we just, every day we come in and we're like, okay, we're 18 months away from Avaya being end of life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Tyler, I think that's where you and I met. I think I sent out an email about it's sad that they were such a large customer or large entity in business and things that they're going through right now. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious if how that goes down, because if they, I mean, to be totally honest, it would make sense to me if they really go kind of, poo poo.
yeah,
I imagine that somebody like you guys or, Genesis or somebody just gobbles them up. Like, that's a customer base. That's a lot of,
yeah, agreed.
legacy stuff. I mean, they tried to do like we had a conversation earlier today about like what Avaya's like cloud offering is, and like
Mhm.
it's like BlackBerry. They're just too late.
They
They're
never
just too
made
late.
it. Yeah,
No.
agreed. Yep, never made it.
So I don't know. Like, do you think they're actually gonna go? Like they're bye bye?
I haven't heard any good things about them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they I don't. I mean, the problem is this is not their first time of being
Yeah.
of going down this road. If it was the first time, there might be some help with it. And then that CEO stepped in. I just feel like it's I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and
I can't speak to it.
there's a lot of people that are unhappy because they didn't disclose the CEO change whenever they were asking for funding. So I think that put them in a little bit of a deeper hole, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot are now trying to, there's lawsuit talks there. So I just think that they have a lot to kind of sort through, which is probably why there won't be any upgrades or anything like that. I don't think they could force that out. I know with Genesis or Pure Connect, like you guys were talking about, I've talked to a lot of companies that are their hand is being forced to move cloud with them, right? There's a hard cutoff. So I
Yep.
think that and as those companies are looking, it's probably less expensive to start with a new company than it is to go through that implementation there, which is a little surprising. And that's why I've had a lot of companies come to us over the last couple months, because all of their hands are being forced that way. So just understand, you guys are you're not the only ones, right? Everybody's going down this road that's on that system. What I'll tell you is I know like your your bigwigs, right? Your C-suite level. I know that they follow some examples of others in the industry. Those companies have joined Nice CX1. So
ADT, I'm
so
assuming you're speaking of, right?
yeah.
Yep.
So
We
couple of them.
maybe we can't talk about it.
No, I can't talk about it, but just
Yeah.
know that other companies have joined that I know you guys follow closely. So
Mhm.
understand, hopefully there's a little bit of a comfort level there that you're not the only one, right? You're not the guinea pig. There are others doing it, and obviously we're hopefully doing it well for them. So, this is why Aaron and I both, we're really excited to show this to you. We're really excited to walk down this path and show you what we have to see where we can help you guys and make some improvements and take a lot of these mundane tasks and probably headaches for you guys and make those kind of a little bit easier and make some of them go away for you. So
I have an ask from you guys, and I don't even know how you'd be able to do it without disclosing, but if you could find somebody, so our big pain point, and I think where our CEO is stuck on, is getting off of our old Avaya, our legacy Avaya.
yeah,
It's just a tank. I mean, it is what it is, but it's also being used by about 40 people, but they are the core of the business. That's who does our alarm monitoring. So I would love if you guys could somehow find somebody that has moved off of a legacy physical on-prem Avaya tank and moved successfully to Nice. That would be, I mean, I just think that would speak volumes.
It's funny that you say that. We actually have a transition team that that is going from for Avaya. We even have a brochure that kind of speaks to moving off of Avaya to CX1, and obviously we have plenty of customers that we can help with that as too. So
Yeah,
that is
obviously a big point right now, right?
Yeah.
For what we just talked about, a lot of companies are doing that. So we do have that, and like Aaron said, we do have that documentation and a team solely responsible for that transition. So we'll see what we can come up with and provide,
especially if
and
that,
without
yeah, that would be huge, especially if it's also like, it's always industry specific for us because it's home safety. It's it's life safety. So if like somebody that you brought in was on an old Avaya and was providing some type of life safety or so, just this is moving from legacy TDM circuits to we'd be moving these over to SIP. Like, how does that play with the DTMF tones that we need to toggle between listening and talking to our home panels in
Yep.
customers' homes? How does that look? Are you having any issues with that with customers who have done the exact same thing? Like, those are all, I think, questions that our leadership will have, and to have answers to that would be great.
Yeah, we definitely can help provide, get you something for that. So it looks like we have about 2 minutes left. What other questions do you guys have? And I could go on for days, so obviously I don't want to bore you with those questions. What questions do you have? And then obviously we can go into really what our next steps look like.
None
I
here.
don't have any more questions.
Okay. What do you see as next steps? Obviously, I think you at the very beginning of the call, you guys said obviously looking at a demo, which should, that we usually kind of ask for, it depends on, we usually ask for like a 2 hour, hour and a half to 2 hour demo, to kind of cover really, little of everything. That's the tip of the iceberg stuff. So we'll barely cover, we'll cover workforce management, we'll cover quality, we'll cover, and I'll send you out agendas, kind of what we are thinking that we should cover, and then you guys can approve or take away. But then also with that, who else would you be having on the call if that's the next steps?
I think it would just be Tyler. You go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I think for this specifically, it would probably just be Nikki and I and another one of our telco people, and then probably our director Grant, so he could see it as well. I think, is that what you were thinking, Nikki?
Yeah, that's to kind of keep it internal to
Yeah.
the IT department. Mhm.
I would say in the demo, one thing that I feel like we haven't seen yet is if you guys can somehow like show what the integration with Salesforce looks like and show what the how the dialer functions. That's all. Like we haven't, Nikki, right? We haven't seen that
Yeah.
yet.
Nope.
That would be huge, especially at the initial demo. Because then the next one would obviously be, all right, we're going to bring in maybe
The
some
business.
some line of business leaders and our CIO, and so then they can see, because it's this Salesforce project that's rolling right now is basically it's across the board. So all of them are going to want to see how does it work with Salesforce? What does it look like? What's the agent how is it going to look for them in Salesforce when that's what they're working on? We keep getting demos that are driven towards the agent going to be solely working out of whatever the solution is, and that's really not going to be the case for us. Most people will be working out of Salesforce.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah, we definitely can do that.
During the demo, we'll show you what your view will be, right? We'll tailor this to you, what an agent would look like, what a supervisor is going to see, that kind of thing, and make sure that we cover those. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Well, this has been great. I mean, like I said, this is we love hearing about all the stuff that you guys are looking for and changing and whatnot. And we appreciate the opportunity to go into this journey. Do we set up a meeting, next steps with you, with
Just Nikki
Aaron,
and I.
or with you
Or
guys?
you can
Okay.
I think Aaron hopped off, but honestly, I would just work through Aaron. I was going to say Nikki and I, but it's just easier for us to keep, we try to keep some consistency just going with Aaron and letting him do the scheduling and stuff.
Yeah, and we'll just copy you on the emails and kind of see what's best for you guys. So are you guys looking for a demo maybe next week sometime, or?
I have to look at our calendars. I would say within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, we can do that. Well, once again, we appreciate the time. Feel free to email us directly, call us. We're happy to answer any questions if anything comes up, and we look forward to kind of going down this journey with you guys. So
yeah, same here.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of the day then.
Thanks.
Thanks,
You too.
Aaron.
Nice
Thanks,
meeting
Bill.
you guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.